Hello, welcome back, my viewers. It is interesting what is happening now in US because the legal battle have just started. Whichever candidate you support, it is worth watching the clip that I will play after here. Don't miss it, because what you are expecting or what you may expect may not be what is going to happen at the end of the day. So it is worth seeing the legal argument or seeing the materials that could be used in court to overturn the election, or the result may still be the way it is for now. But it's worth watching what is happening. This channel from now will be following the legal battle that is unfolding in this US election. This is the final stage of the battle, I would say. Trump is fighting hard to overturn the result, though projected by the media. The president-elect Joe Biden is celebrating, hoping that he will be the president. I cannot say for now that he will not be. But what is unfolding gradually can turn your expectation opposite. So, just take time, listen carefully to the end of this video that I'm going to post now. But before you leave, after watching, please try to support this channel by subscribing, share, and very important, leave your comment below so we can have interactions on this very topic. I'll be posting some important videos concerning this US election, because what happens in US definitely affect you, whether knowingly or unknowingly. It must definitely affect you. The US policy affects everybody, whether you're a politician or not a politician. So that is why it is very, very important for us to pay attention in what is happening in this election. So just watch.
Sidney Powell is the Kraken. Sidney Powell is the Kraken, and she's now been liberated to do. The mayor's legal strategy involves sniper shots at legal challenges that stand in President Trump's way. Sidney, and so he's going to save the president that way. Sidney wants to save the president by dropping a tactical nuke on the deep state. And both are good, both are valid, both need to be done. They're two different approaches, and it's probably best they're separate.
Dr. Patrick Michael Byrne, the founder and former CEO of Overstock.com, joins us now. Dr. Byrne, thanks for coming on today. If you don't mind, kind of break down how you're connected to this Dominion machine voting system and why you have some concerns about it.
I don't mean to sound like I'm beating my chest. I was National Entrepreneur of the Year, you go back a decade, for building a $2 billion tech company, Overstock. I know what I'm talking about. I'm also a PhD from Stanford and a Marshall Scholar and such. I'm putting all that credibility on the line. This election was hacked. The outcome was rigged and should be completely ignored or discounted. Through the court system. The courts should throw it out.
Right. And clearly you have the experience and the expertise in regards to maybe shedding some light on how you know that to be true.
Okay.
Yeah.
And here's how I know that. I'm backing, I have the data, incidentally, I have the data, the electronics, everything. I've been backing and supporting some cybersecurity experts, a number of different groups. And this how that came about. In 2018, the Dallas election had irregularities. The Texas state government hired a elite cybersecurity company to go in and study what had happened in 2018, and they reverse engineered it. And this firm had 2 years to reverse engineer the cheated election. So while the rest of America had 2 weeks to understand this firm had 2 years to understand it. I came across them back in July or August of this year. I started funding them and some other cybersecurity guys and some hackers and some private detectives and this and that. And we put together a very complete picture of how there's basically at least 10 hacks to accomplish within a Dominion system.
Explain the drop and roll technique, because I've never heard that till tonight. Tell us a little bit about that. How do they drop and roll?
At a certain point in the election counting, they basically freeze and they see how much their candidate is behind.
Gotcha.
And then they drop, they shut the ballots, the voting down. They drop a big stack of ballots to get their man up over the guy who's actually winning. And then from then on, they just set, and they just, whatever new batch comes in is prefigured. There's some examples where 53 batches in a row, and this is all revealed in data and charts that will be becoming public tomorrow, that these big voter drops that have Biden catch up and surpass Trump, and then from then on, sort of fixed, they just roll the difference forward. 53 batches in a row come in, and every batch measures exactly 51.2% for Biden and 48.8% for Trump, and they roll that difference forward until it's over. So drop and roll. That's what they did here. So we're talking about, places where Trump lost by 10,000. There may be 300,000 fake illegal votes for Biden. So it isn't even close. This isn't even close. They picked 5 cities that they could commit crazy fraud in some new ways, crazy deep fraud, and by cheating those 5 counties, frankly, you flip 5 key states, you flip the Electoral College. So it was very well thought out, and we've been studying all the numbers. It's clear that in the cities they did that, but in the countryside, where they knew there was more Trump support, they sapped votes from Trump, but still let him win in sort of rural counties. Otherwise, it would catch too much attention.
Are you aware, and we got people on the show coming up this week that has basically Rudy came out this weekend, Sidney Powell came out Friday and said, look, we got proof, we got affidavits, we got sworn testimony that people have seen what you've described. Are you confident that this is going to get to the courts in time to get this stopped? Because you said something to me before the show. You feel like there's a way we can fight this out here in the public too.
Oh yeah, this isn't even close. Yes, I'm aware of all those a lot of whistleblowers and data has been coming to me, and I've been feeding it towards them. I'm not part of them in any way, but I have a way to pipe it to them, and they've been responding. Yeah, this absolutely needs to be fought out in the courts.
Do you think the Democrats were planning this in 2016? This has to be something they've been planning a while, Patrick. This is not something that just showed up overnight. I don't want to get too far in front of my data, but it may turn out this happened in 2012 and cheated Mitt Romney. In 2016, it was supposed to happen. It got shut down. I know who shut it down. Somebody blocked it. What happened was in 2016, Hillary had been promised that that what happened now would be done for her. And she had been promised that, but the day of the election, the people who were doing this themselves got hacked, and they got hacked by a foreign entity. I'm not going to identify who it was or what country they were in, but another country had a hacking circle which hacked the people who were going to hack our election.
Wow.
For that reason, that's why Hillary lost her shit famously up in that tower that night. She wasn't just crying and throwing glasses and plates because, hey, I worked all my life to be president and I missed it. She was throwing the plates because she was saying, you promised me, you sons of bitches, you promised me you had this wired. That's why she was really that. He'd been promised it, which is why she didn't campaign too hard. And it's probably why Joe Biden hid out in his basement the last 6 months.
Yes, sir.
He needed to campaign because it was wired.
You're right.
Based on what you've seen so far, forensically, do we have enough evidence right now? If you're not an attorney, but if you went and spoke to the judge, you said this election was rigged, it was manipulated. Do you have enough evidence right now?
100%.
100%.
I've had that evidence for 16, 17 days. It's a matter of teaching the lawyers.
Right.
And these lawyers are smart and wonderful. And
Right.
I don't work for Sydney or for Rudy or for his mayor. I'm a concerned citizen posted up with a command base.
Yes, sir.
And a bunch of these people getting this, I'm making it available to the press and to the lawyers who want it, is how this is working. So I pay my own way. But yeah, it's 100. I could get in front of a judge and in 20 minutes, if I could bring in some hackers and explain stuff in my own language, there's no honest judge in America who wouldn't get it. It's open and shut. The only question at this point is the legal process. And can the legal process, the bad guys are trying to pour cement over this whole election and bury it before any of this stuff gets out. But it's open and shut that this happened on a massive scale.
But have your digital soldiers, your hackers, been able to find out if any packets were offloaded offshore? Is there any way to track that stuff?
The traffic was going to Frankfurt, Germany. And
you did find that. Nice.
Yeah, and we have verified that. And in fact, there's a professor of computer science over in Frankfurt or over in Germany who actually already wrote something saying about the extraordinary level of traffic that was hitting Frankfurt that night. And it was the night of it was the hours of the election in the United States, the election night. And that's because all that data was being pumped to Frankfurt. So that's just I haven't had time to go further. That's going to take feds and so forth.
Sure.
So what has it been? It's been 18 days of me posting up in Washington with a bunch of hackers and other hackers elsewhere, feeding this data and me trying to bring it to the people who would listen. And this time there are parties quite interested, and there's a number of parties. So we've kind of had a breakthrough, I'd say, since last Sunday. Since 8-9 days ago, we finally got the breakthrough going. And everybody gets it here. Everybody around the president, in the Rudy Giuliani's circles and Sidney Powell's circles. I want to be clear, I do not work for either of them. I've been providing information as requested, and I've been providing information to news organizations as requested. Of course, all the mainstream is trying to bury this in concrete. So for that reason, Sydney has her own website, defendtherepublic.org. She's been doing this on her own dime. And I suggest people go and throw her $5. Throw her $5. She's been doing this. I've spent millions on my own dime so far. I don't need anybody's help. But somebody should go to defendtherepublic.org and throw her a few bucks. But I support both efforts. And we now have, I can say at this point, I don't want to say a fire hose. We have everything. We have the whole thing. And so now the Kraken can be fully released.
I'm going to release the Kraken.
Well, good.